Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is a pissed off post-game all Dodgers live reaction show or something. Dude, that
Or
hit a
something.
couple buttons on there. You see, it's me. It's my guy, Kevin at Skinner7. Kevin, still for now, unless you change the handle. Hopefully,
Nope,
it's
not
still
yet.
there. Guys, how are we feeling? The Dodgers fall to the Royals 7-2. Not a very fun game. It was a fun game for a little bit. They had a 2-1 lead. They lose Yoshinobu Yamamoto earlier, so we're going to wildly speculate about Yamamoto's triceps injury. When did that happen? When did they know? Why are they gaslighting us, all that kind of stuff. But guys, this is a show for you. We want mostly your reactions. We just want to talk through this. We're going to be here for maybe a half an hour, maybe a little longer, something like that. But Kevin, we feel good coming out of yesterday's game. Got that comeback we were talking about on the All Dodgers Discord chat. And then they decide to throw up a stinker right here. Things going wrong immediately. How are we feeling after game 2 of this series with the Royals?
It's so hard. I know Dodger fans want to
Slam the
this
team.
team sucks. Yeah, it is so hard to do that when you've got a guy on the mound that you expect to go 6 innings, and then all of a sudden, according to at least the team, his tricep gets sore and he gets knocked out. That kind of plan, you can plan for a lot of things. Planning for that is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised the team laid an egg afterwards. It doesn't make it feel any better, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and I see Laura in the chat saying they've known. Why did they push him back? That's one of the things I think we saw a lot online after he came out. There was some video before the game as well of him kind of grabbing at that triceps. Maybe they did push him back a couple of days, and that's where you wonder. It's where you kind of got to have that question. It's like, hey, if they knew Yamamoto was injured, maybe they kind of make the plan a little bit earlier. This is a team that's already been burning its bullpen over this homestand. They've kind of had to burn through the bullpen a little bit more than they anticipated, and a lot over the last 2 weeks. So you start to worry about this team getting gassed. But agree, you can't. If they knew, you can kind of plan ahead a little bit, but very much gassed bullpen at this point. Yeah. As we get this, let's say, just rattle off some comments here, man. This is a show for you guys. We want to know what people are saying in the chat, as a lot of friends are in here for the impromptu Saturday post game show.
Yeah, that where did it go? That Ninja Dan, pitchers are not batters, our batters suck. I'm not disagreeing, but I'm not saying he's wrong. Kenny Chung, Biggio's taking lessons from CT, just standing there, gets rung up, bro. Thanks for the pointers. To Chris Taylor. Offense still wouldn't help Yamamoto. Again, from that Ninja Dan, he's very down on the offense. And to that, I'll say, if you watch a football game, right, and your star edge rusher goes down with a non-contact injury, it deflates a defense. It's a key piece of the team that's missing, and it can do a lot for the morale and the psyche of a team. Should the offense have put up more runs? Yeah, sure. But
to their credit, they did have a lead. They did.
Yeah, they had a lead at
in
that
the fourth
point.
inning. This is a great game. I'm somebody who has long been a Dave Roberts defender here on the internet, but you wonder. You really got to look at that. Was it the 6th inning, leaving Blake Trinan in that situation? It was kind of apparent pretty early that BT wasn't all there. He didn't have his very, very best stuff. They were Dave was very clearly warming Anthony Banda to pitch against the lefty batter in that. I forget his name at the moment. Was it Velasquez? Whoever it was. Somebody with a V gets the grand slam in that situation. I don't like Blake Trinan staying in the game in that spot, and I'm sure the Dave Roberts detractors were not very thrilled with that moment as well.
Somebody already brought up he had thrown 39 pitches. Why leave him in?
Yeah, there you go. Right field pavilion in the chat. Yeah, thank you.
So what I'll say to that is you can't plan for your starting pitcher going out. One thing we know about Dave is he does not manage for that day. He's not managing to win tonight.
Fair.
He's managing the team for games in the future to a fault. We saw this last year in the NLDS. You know, you're in game 3 of the deciding game 3 of the NLDS, and he pitches Lance Lynn over Ryan Pepio because in his mind, if he can get a win out of Lance Lynn, he feels better with Ryan Pepio in game 4.
I liked him in that
and
spot.
This is after he said, I'm managing like there's no tomorrow. That is Dave. He's going to do that. I'm not surprised he left Blake Trinan in because he needs another out of Trinan there. He needs to save and salvage a pitcher. I understand his reasoning, and I'm sure it's going to come up in the postgame interview. Mm-hmm. I get his reasoning. Is it correct to win tonight? No. Does it help in this stretch where they've got 9 more games in a row? Probably. Yeah, like it probably does. And that might be a hot take, but
you know, and this is where it's tough because I tend to be that guy who kind of has that I have no problem looking way down the line. I don't necessarily care about today's game. I didn't necessarily care about that Yankees series. That said, I wanted them to win. I want them to win all of the baseball games, but we care more about this team being healthy when it comes to October and all that. But still, it's frustrating to see these moments, this kind of situation. You're worried about that one batter, and you're worried about 3 games from now instead of trying to win that game. And they had a lead. They had a lead at that point.
They had a lead. The other.
Go ahead.
Well, and the other thing I would like to, posit to Dodger fans, or even you, and you can answer this if you want. You got bases loaded, 2 outs, stuff or not. How many guys out of the bullpen do you want on the mound? Like, does anybody else? Like, I get Trinan didn't have it, but does anybody really like in your heart of hearts, do you really trust Anthony Banda?
So when you're really peeling back the fact that this guy has been resurrected for the last couple of weeks. No, I would 100% if you're reading it, if you're reading the room and you're taking the temperature of like, all right, here's train B is leaving the station carrying 15 apples at this point or whatever. Yeah, I'm going to take Blake Trinan in that situation. Been there, done that guy, as opposed to somebody who we don't know when the real Anthony Banda will stand up, or if this is the real Anthony Banda. We know Vesey is kind of gassed. He ended up having to get the save in the game last night. So this is kind of the. I think they're, even with the day off on Monday, they're still kind of dealing with the fallout of the short Walker Buehler start, the short James Paxton start, this bullpen not being as healthy as it could be, not being as rested as it could be. Healthy is a different story when you're talking about missing guys like Brusdar Graterol, Joe Kelly, Kyle Hurt or whatever. I do got to pause for a second because I should do a little housekeeping, guys. It's still an all Dodgers stream, so I should tell you about it. BetOnline is your number one source for all of your betting needs, sports betting needs this season, from baseball, golf, soccer, right on up to the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads while games are being played. When the game's over, you can head on over to their online casino, get in on a game of blackjack, poker, unwind. They have a bunch of slot games at BetOnline, so check it out. Head to the website today. Get in the action. Get in on the action. Use the promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. You get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online. The game starts here. And now let's get to more folks here in the stream who I'm sure. I have a feeling it's mixed. I don't think we have a lot of people that are really upset. But still, it's a frustrating game, and it's a game where you feel like you need to win. And yeah, Blake Trinan gives up the grand slam. You lose Yoshinobu Yamamoto after 2 innings. But also, this is a team that did not put up any runs against Seth Lugo. Well, barely put up any runs against Seth Lugo.
He's been really good this year,
struggling.
outside of the last 2 starts. He's been really good. It's something where the Padres fans that I follow kind of laugh that the Padres didn't re-sign him for the deal he got, because he has been so effective for the Royals at this point. So I think the Dodgers were on their way to the exact plan they wanted. They scratched across a couple runs. Yamamoto was dealing. I mean, even injured, he was dealing. He gave up a walk and a single, but he was looking just fine. And all of a sudden, it's so funny. Seth Lugo's the first AL pitcher to reach 10 wins, and you kind of look at that and go, it's just another reason why wins just aren't even a real stat at this point.
Listen,
but
take that crap out of your mouth. Win lives matter. A pitcher that can stay in the game for their team to earn a win in this modern game, I call it impressive. And yeah, I mean, you could have it depending on how many runs your team scores. We know that if Tyler Glasnow was continuing to get the same run support he was getting early in the season, he'd probably have like 12 wins. It's flawed, but it still means a little bit of something to me. But anyways, I just had to defend some wins.
I think ultimately they were cruising on their plan. You get Yamamoto dealing like he does. Even if they go down 3-2, you like the bullpen in the latter parts of the game, and you like the offense to scratch across another run, which, I mean, they didn't do, but I think part of that had to do with they were just out of the game at that point, and they kind of knew it, and they kind of took at bats like they knew it. So I think Yamamoto going down just deflates the team, and it kind of dampens any possible comeback, because they know even if they get a lead, it's going to be hard to maintain it with the state of the bullpen.
Yeah. It was an uphill battle for
it
sure.
Was.
The second Yamamoto exited that game, and Dave said that, oh fuck, and had that moment where you have a very frantic.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
was that the mouth?
Yeah, it was all fucking. He chucked the chucked his gum or whatever the hell he had as Mark Pryor comes running out. So again, I'm also very curious to. I would love to know what's actually wrong with Yamamoto and how long they knew about it and all this kind of stuff. And what smoke they're going to blow up our asses in the post game.
So 2 things. 3 things at this point. Devent, y'all making excuses, wrong. That's just not at all what we're doing. I think we're being fairly realistic with what's going on. Second thing, 300 GJW with a 199 super chat. If Mookie and Ohtani don't go, it's all she wrote. I mostly agree
on that point. I'm getting real tired of waiting. Always need to be waiting on Mookie. This team runs on Mookie like Boston runs on Duncan. And if I see another garbage showing from Mookie in October, I'm kind of done. I think I'm done on the Mookie train if that happens. This is getting way, way down the road, but also not really, not super down the road, because what we're seeing right now is the type of shit we've seen over the last couple of postseasons. I saw somebody saying the offense looking lethargic in there. I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of fight. I'm not seeing a lot of panache in the batter's box.
Well, what about last night? We were talking about it in the Discord channel. The team showed a lot of fight. Mookie swings first pitch against a relief pitcher, gets on base. Shohei, even if it's not a great at bat, flies out the other way. He pops out, but he goes the opposite direction instead of rolling over like he did. It seemed like countless times twice today, and then Freddie drives Mookie in after Mookie gets the second on a pass ball. That's the fight you love to see. And yes, the offense does run through Mookie. It would be better if he was putting up offensive numbers like last year, but also last year's offensive numbers were something he hasn't done since 2018.
He was doing what he was doing in the first month of the season.
He still has a 900 OPS. I know these are season stats. He's been kind of bad the last 3 weeks, but he still had a good season. I'm more curious, what do you think kind of happened? In terms of Yamamoto's handling. So he gets his start pushed back 2 days. He goes 2 innings. Velo's down, clearly. He's sitting 94 after he throws a season high 108 pitches. Not a career high because he threw 120-something pitches in the Japan series. So what do you think happened? How do you think this kind of all, and what do you think is ultimately going, what do you think the result of Yamamoto being removed, and what do you think that injury will end up being?
Yeah, this is touching on a something Scarlet and Blue said in the chat there. Who cares about the game? Yamamoto is top of mind. At the moment, my gut tells me that the start wasn't pushed back because his arm was tight. I think if they knew his arm was tight after that Yankee series, I think that this is a team that always exercises an abundance of caution. I think they would have IL'd him then right after that start, or even a couple days before, if they felt like he wasn't going to be ready to go in that he was supposed to start Wednesday or Thursday, whatever it was, but having the start pushed back a couple days. I think this was something that crept up on him today pregame, and he probably said like, look, I'll give you what I can, but Dave and the front office, or Dave and Mark Pryor said, told him, you let us know if something doesn't feel right. They're checking in between innings, and you saw that in the second inning where he was eventually pulled out. It's not what they wanted to see. I don't think it's going to be something like, yeah, you worry when you see 93. You worry when you see the velo down, because this is a guy who pretty effortlessly can get it up to 96, and we saw him throwing a 97, 98 in that hyped up start there in New York. So long way around to say, I'm going to convince myself that I'm not worried yet. I'm going to convince myself right now I'm not worried. This is something where I will maybe it is an IL thing. Maybe he is going to be placed on the 15-day IL, but I'm not worried about him missing as long as Bobby Miller is missed.
Yeah.
Especially if they caught it early enough. That's the big thing. If they caught it early enough. But again, you saw him kind of grabbing at that tricep before the game. I think if this team was in a better health spot, he probably wouldn't have started.
And okay, I was touch on one thing or two things here. Life Journey says, you guys talking like the Dodgers are 10 games out of first and fighting for a wild card spot. They'll be fine. Relax. Look, we're not. We can.
It's a post-game
this team is fine,
show for one.
but we can react to arguably one of the team's best and brightest pitchers. It's not necessarily about tonight either. It's what does the long-term future of Yoshinobu Yamamoto look like? I don't think we're saying that this team is bad by any stretch. I just brought up last night how they fought back and won that game.
Yeah, we were
tonight,
very
they got
happy
deflated.
With that game. That was huge.
And they fell flat today, and I think a lot of that has to do with Yamamoto going out. And to your point, to what I kind of asked, I agree. I think if this was a real thing, this team does handle, especially pitchers, players with an abundance of caution. Yeah. If this was something that was real prior to the start, they would not have let him pitch today. They wouldn't have done it. So I think it's something, like you said, that crept on him today. What does worry me is they said it was a tricep. One, I worry about that because this team isn't exactly forthcoming when it comes to player injuries. They've been known to bury the lead, as it were. And two, we've seen another tricep injury. Joe Musgrove has been down. This is his second stint on the IL with tricep tendonitis.
Oh, wow.
Tricep tendonitis. And he has not looked good. So he was down for he was down for an extended period of time in May, made a start or two, did not look good. Velo was down, couldn't command his changeup. And then they sent him back down again, citing the same thing. Even if it is the tricep, if it's just Yamamoto's tricep, which is, let's be honest, as good as it gets, it's not his shoulder, it's not his forearm, it's not his elbow. I'm still worried based with the context of Joe Musgrove and his injury, because tendonitis or any itis, bursitis, tendonitis of any kind is similar to Max Muncy's oblique injury. There is nothing you can do about it.
That's a fair
You
point.
just have to let it sit there and wait for it to go away. I went to school with the kid. We were in 6th grade. No joke. This kid was 6'2". And what did they do? They made him a pitcher and a first baseman, and he had elbow tendonitis, and he would just not be able to throw for weeks. And I asked him, like, what do you do? Like, you're a baseball player. You love playing baseball. How does that help? And we're like, what are you doing? And he goes, there's nothing I can do. I just have to sit here. And this is when we were 12 years old. I can't imagine what they're doing for like a pitcher like Yamamoto.
And an investment like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who they gave him, was it 12 year deal, $326 million deal. This is a prized possession for this team. They went out and got the prize pig of the offseason, putting all that money in. They're going to protect him.
Really quick, love the Azul. nice clickbait jabronis. He's fine. Hey, thanks for your view. Appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful night, man. Really appreciate you joining in on the conversation. With that, we got a 199 super chat. Also appreciate it. Back from 300 GJW. Any injury to a pitcher's arm is not good. Totally agree. Absolutely agree. Especially when you're worried about soft tissue. It's not a broken arm. You worry about muscles, tendons, stuff like that. It's something that you hope. And unfortunately, Yamamoto's giving an interview right now. I'm unable to listen to it, so I'm hopefully going to get some quotes on the old website formerly known as Twitter. At by Blake Williams. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter, give him a follow. He's with those guys over there at Dodger Blue. They do a great job. He said he felt tricep tightness in warm-ups and communicated it to the coaches. He said it wasn't that serious at that point, just like we said.
Yeah,
that's best case scenario. Because it is, if that's the case, but for the long-term plan of this team, as it long-term as in this season, it's still worrisome because you're hoping to get this guy used to MLB.
Yep.
You want him to get reps against major league hitters. So him being out for an extended period of time, and the longer he's out, similar to Bobby Miller, the longer it's going to take to ramp him back up.
So Keen adds too. Said Yamamoto said he felt the tightness a few days ago, but then today it was gone until during warm-ups. So that is a little more of a concern if we're talking about that scenario with it. As what do you got?
Oh no, someone else I said wouldn't be live is live. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Guys, make sure you tube into us instead of my guy Doug, but we'll have Doug on the channel soon enough. Him and I need to talk about some baseball, some trade deadline stuff, but that's not what we're caring about right now. We're caring about you guys being here. I think there's over 150, 170 people live on YouTube. We got 200 plus live on the X, on the Twitter. If you guys want to jump into the conversation, we are able to see all the comments on YouTube. I think Twitter makes you have to pay to be able to comment on video, which is really, really freaking stupid, but also sounds about right. So if that is the case, if Yama kind of knew, if they kind of felt it, if the team knew that there was something there. Well, here we go. Mike DiGiovanna, LA Times, said he felt some tightness in triceps while warming up. Mentioned it to coaches. Didn't think it was serious enough to be scratched, which I think is something you already said, and what Blake Williams kind of also tweeted. Got worse during the game. Doesn't think the injury is serious. So I guess the next question is,
that means nothing.
Do they IL him? I mean, I think they could buy themselves a few days if they did feel. I mean, if it was one of those situations, if we're saying. If we're saying before, or I was just saying a little bit ago, that how much this team, operates out of an abundance of caution, and we saw that with, like, Kyle Hurt. He was somebody who I think they said at the time he wasn't really expected. He said he wasn't expecting to go on the IL, but more so Bobby Miller for as long as he's been out. The fact that they did throw Yamamoto and all of his money, all of his worth to this team, the fact that they did throw him out there, I don't know if that's just a dumb move or more of a tell of kind of where the bullpen is at, where the state of the pitching is at for this team, for the health of this team. But also, if he says he's good, this is they're still learning each other. This is where 3 months, not even 3 full months
David
into
Peralta all over again.
Thank you. That's a great
David Peralta had the same thing last year. He underplayed his injury, and they played him out. He wasn't great in the second half. We all saw it. And all of a sudden, he has off-season injury. I don't think there was anything nefarious behind it. I truly think he thought he could play through it, but he underplayed it. And injuries are a two-way street unless it's something like completely obvious that shows up on scans. You need to have the injured player be completely forward and honest, and then the team make a decision. If Yamamoto downplayed it, the team probably thinks, all right, he sees a little tightness. Don't pitch him for 2. We'll push his start back. We'll let him pitch in 2 days and see what happens.
Let's get into some
get.
Let's get into more of some of the chat here from people. Cole said Biggio just struck out again. We'll talk more offense, more Biggio in a second. I like JR saying should have got Imanaga for cheaper. I say they should have got both. In the offseason, I was very high on Mike Imanaga. I mean, sorry, Shota Imanaga. But by the way, the Mike story, freaking hilarious. If you guys don't know, very quick version of the story is he said Shota is too hard for the baristas to understand when he's ordering his coffee, so he just calls himself Mike, and then they put up the name plate at his locker, Mike Imanaga.
The second part of that is he goes by Mike Imanaga the second. And they asked him, why the second? And he just said, it sounds cool. A plus personality. The Cubs got a good one.
Give some points to him there. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Keen also giving us the update from the post game right now, saying Yama said this is why they moved the start, and they weren't terribly worried about it at that point. BC says, don't worry, guys. They're going to add another 5+ ERA pitcher and another 200 batter, and they'll be fine. Ooh, I'm not booing the comment. I'm booing the fact that that's probably, it's
Yama. So
bring back Lance Lynn. Why not?
Blake H. Harris, different Blake on Twitter, said Yamamoto's been feeling for a couple days. Yamamoto doesn't think this is a serious injury, which, if I'm being honest, I'm more willing to believe Yamamoto's. Like, if Dave said this isn't a serious injury, should be the minimum, I have no faith. We look at Max Muncy with his oblique injury. They thought that would be the minimum, and he hasn't even swung a bat yet. If Yamamoto says he doesn't think this is a serious injury, this at least leads me to believe it's more minor than Mark Pryor running to Dave Roberts in the dugout and Dave sprinting into the training room. Everyone to believe
the running. That's a little more on the concerning side. So right now, yes or no, does Yoshi make his next start?
No. I think
which could either be in 5 days or 8 days, apparently, with this team.
Yeah, I honestly, even if they just IL him, bring up Landon Knack, let him make a spot start, just get somebody to give you some innings, just make sure this is nothing. Because if this is just the minimum, it's just the minimum. Landon Knack gets some. It's just a win-win for everybody. Landon Knack is perfectly fine. You just give Yamamoto 5 days to be like, hey man, just don't move your right arm, just tape it to your body, and you'll be fine. Just do that.
Get a little straight jacket,
and we'll go from there. But you got Bobby Miller coming back. Landon Knack can take his spot. There's options, and we know Dave and Andrew Friedman love their optionality.
Oh yeah,
they have choices to make. Just they don't need to push it.
Guys,
I'll send him.
Hit that thumbs up here on YouTube, by the way, if you believe that he will be fine, or hit the thumbs up if you want him to be fine. That's
hit the thumbs down button if you don't want him to be fine.
Don't hit the thumbs down.
There's no such thing as bad publicity. Let them do it.
Because then it hurts my feelings. Not really. It doesn't hurt my feelings. $1.99 super chat from Manoa Ortega. Friedman shopping for players in the clearance aisle, and we were talking about one of those guys. Maybe should have come in. Anthony Banda. Yeah, he does love those.
I'm
bargain bin.
I have no issue with Trinan pitching there. There's I trust him to get out of that spot. He had a good outing. He left a fastball.
Didn't have it.
I think it was a fastball. It looked like one. I had my monitor way away from me, so I didn't see the speed on it. It looked like fastball movement.
GI says too many Wikipedia doctors on here tonight. I like
Absolutely.
that comment. Because the triceps,
me is one of them.
It forms it.
It has 3 muscles. It's right here, I believe, and there's only one of them.
Because it's tri. So that's 3. And mono means one, and rail means rail. Laura saying 15-day IL, my guess. I do think they go that route. And also, you mentioned Landon Knack. This team is about to welcome back.
Did you just throw a Simpsons reference out there?
Yes, thank you.
That's a great episode.
Thank you.
Monorail.
Anyways, listen. Shout out Eric Yulo if you're out there. Back-to-back episodes with a Yulo shout-out. You mentioned Knack, but this team is also about to get back Bobby Miller, who don't necessarily look at the numbers from his most recent rehab start. Just look at the fact that he started the game, and the first few innings were pretty good. And he had some old issues kind of resurface. If you look at the tape, look at the paperwork on from that rehab, look at the notes from that rehab. They said that he was struggling out of the windup, out of the stretch, which is something that has plagued him throughout his minor league career at times. One of the things we were worried about even entering last year, but he kind of quelled a lot of those concerns. But even so, he's somebody who's going to come back and probably could very well take that Yamamoto spot. Given the state of this bullpen, I would not be shocked even in the slightest if they do IL Yama tonight to bring somebody, bring a healthy body up. Maybe
Nick Ramirez.
Yeah, let's say Nick Ramirez, something like that. Yeah. Or maybe if Ricky Vanasco is a real live human
Randy.
being.
That's how little I remember him. Damn it, it's Ricky.
My guy Randy. Oh God. GI says, whatever, man. I know they're not truthful with their injuries, but I'm going to take the word from the man's mouth. Just not guessing out of the blue. Yeah, I mean, they've never been good. They've never been good at being forthright with us. That's one thing we do know about this organization. We kind of live with it. I remember a couple weeks ago, and I'm sure anybody who watched Dodgers Territory with myself and Alana Rizzo on the Foul Territory Network, check it out. It's the podcast I host. She had mentioned being upset or kind of shocked and annoyed at the fact that Dave Roberts threw out like a timeline for Clayton Kershaw just because that was so not Dodgers. But
quickly to interject. Yes. Speaking of Dave, again, by Blake Williams. I'm sure he's at the stadium right now.
Wow.
Robert said the next steps for Yamamoto is he's going to get a consult with the doctors and see how he comes in tomorrow. Yamamoto said he felt good enough to start, and there's soreness all the time with pitchers. Thanks, Dave. Dave, this is a quote. We wouldn't pitch him if we felt he'd put himself in harm's way, end quote. Very similar to what we said. They wouldn't have thrown him out there if they thought there was any risk of him worsening an injury. This team is way too cautious with their pitchers.
Yeah.
So
again,
but I wouldn't be shocked, like you said, if they do put like Clayton's gonna make 2 rehab starts and he'll join us, this series against this team.
Charlie Stokes isn't worried, by the way. Charlie says we have over 90 games left. Everything is good as planned. No worries. I would be maybe err on the side of a little bit of concern, worry, just because we haven't seen complete baseball from this team in what feels like weeks, maybe even a solid month, where all bits of it, all aspects are firing on all cylinders. If anything, you could argue the entirety of the season you haven't seen this team firing on all cylinders because you got people like Chris Taylor in the lineup who ain't very good at his job, despite hitting the home run. Thank you, the home run, we're aware. Kike Hernandez existing, going out and us trying to pretend like we're excited about the addition of Kevin Biggio and his 200 batting average and all that kind of stuff. Why can't they go out and get somebody like Bobby Witt Jr.? Hey, that kid's pretty good, huh? You guys enjoying watching him?
Oh my God,
man.
So good.
He's fun. He's fun to watch. Hate him. I hate him because he's good.
No, but see, that's the thing is he's fun to watch and he's not in our division, so I can really enjoy him. It's like when Fernando first came up and I had no idea he took steroids. He was so fun to watch, but I hated that he was on the Padres. So I had to talk to myself you can't like this guy because he's on the Padres. He wears those hideous brown and yellow jerseys. So I slowly didn't like Fernando, but with Bobby Witt Jr. being in the AL, I can love every second of what he does. And my God, it's no wonder they gave him the largest extension in Royals history, which honestly isn't that much, but it's at least something.
I would take that kind of money for sure.
Yeah,
huge,
sure.
huge.
I do some things.
Oh
for that
man,
kind of
Kenny Chung just made me depressed because he said Miller's gonna get lit up at Coors Field, and God, I forgot that we're going to Coors Field.
Yeah, we're going to Coors. That's the best part. If you weren't worried about injuries before, worry about them now.
That sucks.
We gotta get pitchers through there without getting injured. But
God damn.
So Bobby Miller's gonna pitch Wednesday against the Rockies. And I wouldn't be shocked if they limit him to 4 innings. just because he's in Coors.
Yeah.
Like that again, that's just a bullpen day. It's gonna end up being what we all hoped would kind of be the tandem of Bobby Miller giving you 5 to 6, and then Ryan Yarbrough giving you length afterwards.
Listen.
I'm seeing that right now.
If they want, and IB Strokin wants people to hit the like button. Make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up. Because that helps out the channel. It really does. If you guys want another way to help out the channel, subscribing, of course, something that's completely free. We're trying to get to the 7,000 subscriber mark, and then we'll keep climbing from there. But appreciate you watching either way. What the hell was I going to say? I was going to say something about something. But
something about Colorado being the worst stadium to play in.
Oh, that's right. You know, one way you could almost guarantee a win is with Miguel Rojas in the lineup, because he was in there last night and he got a hit. Big hit homer, and they won, and he was not in there tonight and they lost. I'm just throwing out the facts.
Yeah, so I looked into it, and they definitely do significantly better when he's in the lineup, but they also do significantly better when he's at third base. They do significantly worse when he's at third base, because Lux and or Kike is playing second. When Rojas is at short or at second, because that means Mookie's at either and Lux isn't at any of them, they win games. I don't know. I'm still on the train of just slightly pinch hit Lux, or not Lux, Miggy Rowe, just because you can't have him.
Kenny says they're 28-11 when Miggy Rowe gets in at bat. Manny Man 5 Dodge got me dying here because he says, "Hey, someone is stealing your food, Kevin."
No, they're getting water.
That's a great comment. Ray pointing out
she can have as much of it as she wants.
Ray pointing out the obvious and trying to get us back into a level mindset, which I appreciate. Ray Barrios being in here saying Dodgers have a 7-game lead, but a reason they have a 7-game lead is because the NL West is trash. It is dookie this year. Terrible.
Hey,
a lot of injuries. Yes.
Really quick. Tony Forkish, I'll give you a chance. I'll keep an eye out for your comment. But he says LA Times needs to do their job on the Dodgers just lying, not manipulation of the IL, but criminal lying. Hey, what do you mean by that? Just out of sheer curiosity, what lying do the Dodgers do? I'll give you an opportunity to answer, and I'll decide your fate once I read your answer. If you get to continue to chatting here, because maybe they're not forthcoming about the IL, but one thing this organization doesn't do is outright lie. If anything, they comply with all investigations as best as they can and any inquiries. So I just put in the chat, and we'll do a little
have a little conversation.
Yeah. We'll just curious. I just want to talk. I just want to talk to them.
As we near the 40-ish minute mark, we'll get out of here soon enough. But the latest, I'm pretty sure people watching us alongside watching the post game on SNLA already heard Dave talk about it, but did say, according to MLB.com, Juan Toribio, there's a quote high possibility he goes on the injured list, even if it's just precautionary. So even if he's going in for the testing tomorrow, the MRI tomorrow morning, tomorrow being Sunday, because some people might listen to this as a podcast or watch after, so I like to date things, there's a strong likelihood that we're going to see that happen. And Nick Ramirez, come on down, or maybe it is Ricky Vanasco time. Gus Varland, do you still exist? They have some guys hanging out on the 40-man roster they could bring up pretty quick, and they're not the prettiest of options, but they are around, and they have a pulse. Or the new kid, Jose Hernandez, they picked up from the Pirates.
I'm going on a straight. Me and Tony need to have a discussion here. He's not suggesting things that haven't already been mentioned. What's been mentioned?
Oh, did he do that thing where he threw out accusations but didn't necessarily have an abundance?
Yeah, he didn't. He okay, big guy. I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more. If you don't tell me one thing that they've actually lied about, well, you might have to sit out a little bit and just rethink what you're saying. Going back to the Yamamoto discussion, Mike DiGiovanni says that, or according to Dave Roberts, he didn't think the tightness was related to his last start in New York. Or at least Yamamoto said that. Yeah. I would be shocked if it wasn't. You throw 100 and what was it,
108 pitches, yeah.
108 pitches, and you throw harder than you have all year. That's I think it'd be more surprising if it didn't have anything to do with that. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I think we're probably near enough to wrap it up time, unless we get more of the battle between Kevin and Tony hanging out here in the chat.
Yeah, Tony, I'm waiting.
Tony,
I'm waiting. Oh, here we go.
There it is. There we go.
They would allow Yamamoto to take the hill if they even had a hint of problem is dubious beyond.
That's not a lie.
No.
Where's
dude, no? All right, sorry. I'm sorry. You get. We're not even going live tomorrow, so I'm gonna let you sit out a day. I'm gonna let you sit out. You can have one day to think about it. We're not even live tomorrow.
Tony, we appreciate you hanging out with us either way.
But that's no. It's not them lying.
Bring your stats to the skirmish. You know.
Exactly. Bring your stats to the skirmish. God, I didn't steal that from anybody. But this team isn't lying. They're very cautious with their players. That is evidenced by pretty much everything they do. So I don't think if they actually knew that there was something wrong with their guy that they gave a 12-year contract to, they wouldn't have pitched him.
Keen, by the way, who's watching, I like Keen saying, my takeaway is that Dave isn't happy about the communication from Yamamoto, and they're going to be extra cautious. Again, you get your one strike, I think, for the most part. Dave, this front office will listen to you. They'll take you at your word, at face value for what you're telling them. And this was it, for him to go out there and give them only 2 innings, definitely put them in a bad spot. It puts them in a really terrible spot. It could be a lost in
translation thing. It could be something where,
damn it, Will.
It could be something where he thinks it wasn't so bad, or he felt one thing. Yeah, Will Ireton says another. It could be that they got to communicate better if that's the case. But if there was any inkling that he was seriously injured, there's 0% chance they pitch him tonight. None. They have no issue with Dave going up there today and going, we optioned Anthony Bonda today. We brought up Landon Egg. We just need a spot start, giving Yamamoto a blow. That would have answered so many more questions. It'd been so much easier to do for them.
I wonder if we see wholesale changes tomorrow as well. Yama to IL, one more bullpen arm, and maybe another length guy, and you might see a Bonda move. You might see, I think they have some other guys they could option. Unfortunately, maybe we've seen the last of Hugmeister, Yohan Ramirez, just because they need healthy bodies right now. Or maybe they do that thing where they lie and manipulate the IL. I don't know.
Exactly.
But they have the good thing. Oh, another guy, Fire Eisen. Fire Eisen's been doing pretty well.
Yeah, JP's down there. I mean, they have arms ready to go. It's not like they're.
So we will not be seeing Ricky Vanasco. Vanasco is what we're saying right here.
I want to know. I want to know he's alive. He's my next. Oh God.
My guy Shohei Teoscar season 2024 brings up a really, really elite point here that I had completely forgotten about up until I saw it pop into my brain last night, I think it was. But if you want, you got to slug if you want the dub. And I've been saying that for years. Totally my thing. And if you want the dub, you got to mitigate the slug from other teams. And this team gave up a grand slam tonight. Cole says bring up the entire OKC baseball team, which kind of got me going on this idea. We can see some wholesale changes. I wonder maybe just maybe we can see an Andre Lipsia sighting already.
I really wouldn't be surprised.
Please.
Maybe not tomorrow, but going into Monday. Please. I wouldn't be surprised if we see kind of a rotation of arms just for Coors. They got guys that have options. They got guys that they can bring up and then bring down.
Yeah, good point from Cole. By the way, if we're talking on the pitching side, Michael Grove still has some options as well, so Grove can go down.
He pitched 2 innings tonight, right?
RDA3 says, "Yo, we suck," and that's a good comment.
We suck again.
Hey, we suck again.
Yeah,
Kenny Chung says option Biggio, so they can't option Biggio just because he has
4 years of
the 5
service
years
time
of service
5
time or
years,
whatever
yeah.
it is. You know who
He
has
has
a
to
lot of
accept the
years of
option.
service time is our guy Richard Flores checking in from the Dodger Stadium parking lot saying just waiting to see the Dodgers tweet out Tommy John surgery went well. No, first
That's a weird way to say tricep injury, but tricep does start with a T.
You know that's where we know it would first be. They're going to work on rest. They're going to see how he rests for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, and then they'll ramp him back up. But anyways,
chat, you got to relax. Mark Pryor needs to be fired. Like, just relax.
Oh, that's right. This is your first real true post game after a shit show.
I mean, this guy again.
This is what happens, man.
You got 5 minutes, big guy. You need to.
I appreciate everybody hanging out with us in the chat. This has been fun. We've been talking about doing post games more. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this one. I don't think there's much more we can add at this point outside of talking around the same thing.
So how do you feel about Biggio? We got 2 games of him. He struck out 4 times already. Is he the guy that you like seeing?
So not in on Craig Biggio
No.
Craig. Maybe Craig if we can go back
Craig,
about 30 years. Kevin
so
Biggio. Come on, even the Blue
right
Jays who are kind of in a playoff hunt aren't in on Kevin Biggio. This is come on.
Does Kevin Biggio survive the trade deadline?
Hell
is
no.
he or is he not on this team?
I would honestly at this point if the offense keeps going the way it is and we keep dancing around the whole Andre Lipsius situation, it's like Biggio has this allegedly great glove or whatever, but you gotta, if you want the dub, you gotta slug, and that's something Lipsius is doing at AAA. This is a team that needs offense. It needs a boost. It needs something to kind of just spark 1 through 9 in the order because Mookie is very, very hit and miss right now. Shohei it feels like he can only get singles that are kind of meaningless at the moment. Freddie's doing Freddie things. Will I don't know if he's hunting the homer, but Will ain't Will. Teo strikes out a lot. Love Teoscar Hernandez, but he needs a little bit of he needs help around him and everybody behind him. For as good as the bottom of the lineup has been of recent vintage, I mean Pages is hitting again. Like I've said recently a bunch. Lux is not necessarily a massive issue. He's not good, but he's not terrible anymore.
Yeah, Teo was 2 for 4 tonight. Lux was 1 for 4. Obviously, he had that bases. I don't know if it was a bases clearing double, I think. So I mean, Lux. But again, that ball went right into the ground. And just seeing eye ground ball, would have loved it. If that ball is at least elevated and gets into the outfield, you feel a little better about it. Yeah. But
need some launch angle. Give me a little launch angle.
Yeah, a little.
But I was gonna say if Biggio survives the month of June, he either really quickly figured something out, or this team has very little issue with the stagnancy, just like being stagnant, doing the status quo, letting guys figure it out, waiting until June 14th for Chris Taylor to hit his first home run and have any semblance of a breakout game. They're okay just kind of treading water because, like we said earlier in the chat, this is a team that at the moment has a 7-game lead in their division. They're going to run away with the National League West because the teams in the division are shit right now. And I worry about that. I would love to see this team have some real competition. And that's where we could really kind of test whether or not this is going to be another postseason where we're just not even mad. We're just hollow. Or it's going to lead to something meaningful. So to lose against the Royals in the fashion that they do, this game is kind of an outlier. I don't look at this. I look at this as sort of a micro, not even a microcosm. It's everything about where this team is at right now. The offense is struggling, and the cylinders again are not all firing right now, and they haven't been all firing all season. But we've seen what this team can do when for the most part they're doing well, when the top of the lineup is doing well, and when their starting pitchers are healthy and their triceps are staying together. But
Triceps are attached to the bone.
Yeah, that whole thing. But
I agree. I think if Captain Bishop is on this roster in the early August, that there's an issue there. Either Max Muncy is hurt, and if they know he's that hurt, they need to go acquire somebody better, and then they failed to do so.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily see him surviving the deadline unless they know Max is coming back somewhat quickly afterwards. But I'm starting to get worried that we're not going to see Max Muncy for the rest of the year. Obliques are weird. Ooh. They're weird. Ooh. It's an injury where you think it gets better, and even if you think it's better, it flares up quick, especially, and Max has a really violent swing. If Freddie Freeman's out with an oblique injury, I'm not so worried about it. He's got a pretty smooth, direct to the ball swing. But if Shohei, Max have oblique injuries, that's scary because of how much rotation they have in their midsection. So it's something where I'm worried that even if he does, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to be excited about it until I see it, because that can flare up really fast, even if he thinks it's better. So
hopefully we know sooner rather than later. We've got a month and a half until the deadline. You need to see some other teams start falling out of the race. I'd love to see just for me, after writing about it, reporting about it, pontificating about it, roster baiting about it, praying for it over the years of doing this. I would love to see the Cardinals just really go to shit and Nolan Arenado come home. But that's for me.
Anthony Keene, I appreciate you because I just missed this. Somebody I timed out has
I saw that.
Account.
I saw that.
Wow.
Listen, Caleb, I appreciate that. Honestly,
thank you for the second view.
Don't boot him, but I love that. That's cool.
No, absolutely not. I appreciate the tenacity. I appreciate the compete. The back of the baseball card. Appreciate the at-bat quality. I liked him in that matchup. I get it.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
No, Mark Pryor has nothing to do with arm injuries or any injuries. My guy, if you look at baseball, the landscape of it, all pitchers are falling apart. So,
I would look at the strength and conditioning coaches before Mark Pryor.
Yeah, I would look at strength and conditioning. I'd look, honestly, as an organizational approach before anything, I get it. You're fired up about it, and we appreciate it. It's something that Jeff Passan joined. I think it was talking baseball. Yeah, and he talked he said that he was gonna put out an article about how bad it is, even kids level baseball, Pinto League, stuff like that. How the approach there is pretty detrimental to development. I get it. But trust me when I say it is not Mark Pryor's fault that Dustin May has one of the most violent arm actions in all of baseball. And you mentioned Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw has never had an injury.
Yeah.
Mark Pryor's been the pitching coach for how long now? And Kershaw's arm fell apart this year. So I appreciate it, my guy. Appreciate the tenacity, the fight, the compete.
I like what he said too. Where was it? He said, where the hell did it go? He's like, I was just at the game and I spent $300. I deserve to be mad or something along those lines.
Yeah, I agree.
We got a $4.99 super chat from our guy Richard Flores. Says when it comes to injury updates, Russian and Iranian state media don't trust the Dodgers. And Kevin's Kitchen looks better on weekends. Oh yeah!
I'm not even cleaning it till tomorrow. Oh God, if we did a post-game show tomorrow, Richard, you'd love the state of this kitchen.
I only see
those counters real good.
I only see there's one orange rag-looking thing behind you that looks slightly out of place.
Those are dishwashing gloves.
Okay.
Ooh,
dishwashing.
You gotta keep your hands. It's not even mine. It's my fiance's. You gotta keep those hands, smooth and not cracked while you're pouring hot water and soap on them. I don't care. I do it anyway.
Caleb's going to drop another $500 tomorrow at the game, hoping that he's cooler. Hey, you could drop $500 in a super chat. I'm just messing with you. We're not asking.
Who are the probables tomorrow?
Well, it's going to be Glasnow. Glasnow's got he's got a big game, very important game for this team tomorrow.
Really?
As our guy, IB Strokin. Hell yeah. Gifted 5 YouTube memberships to the faithful here in the chat. We appreciate that. We appreciate IB Strokin for being so damn supportive on the channel as always. I also really like seeing the dumb little emojis that I threw in there. So we're gonna need to.
We'll get some more. We'll get some more. I've got some ideas.
Caleb says unmute my main channel. I'll donate.
I don't think I can.
I don't know if it lets you.
5 minutes. You should be good. I think you're fine. I only give you a 5 minute. You didn't come in here with accusations of the organization cheating, so I didn't, level the ban hammer on you.
Ooh. Damn, what is I got 1.6 million subs. I don't know what the hell that. Hey, good on you. We're trying to get to 7,000.
We got 100 people in here though. Appreciate the hell out of all of you. You guys have been great. Appreciate you guys tuning in when there are other shows out there. So thank you so much. No, I just keep this chat sane, Maddie, man. That's all I do. Try to keep the conversation within a respectable scope.
He's firing. He's shooting from the hip. That's Kevin. He sees somebody walking in, side eyes him. You got
any thoughts on CJ Stroud attending our game yesterday? I wish the Raiders drafted him, but that's neither here nor there. And they also weren't in position to do so. But one can dream.
That they can.
But we're getting a little off the rails here.
Yeah. Let's see. I should probably do the thing I was trying to do like 15 minutes ago. Hit that wrap it up button, guys. It is about time to do that. I'll leave you guys on this. Tyler Glasnow is going to shove for this team tomorrow because he has to. Help us, Tyler. You're our only hope. I should also probably tell you, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free to you, and it really helps out people like me and Kevin. It lets us know. Keep doing this kind of stuff, and it lets other people know. Hey, these people know what they're doing, and then they might want to partner up with us, do things like that, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm just saying words, but we do have YouTube members, as we already mentioned. I also have the Patreon page, which is another way you can support us for less than the price of a Dodger dog at Dodger Stadium this year. You could support independent Dodgers coverage here. We have no major backing. This is just two dudes in their home office or in their kitchen talking about the Dodgers for you. That's Caleb. Let's go, Caleb. Listen, I appreciate Caleb for being a man of his word, for bringing his facts to the fight or something like that. But yeah, check out patreon.com/realfrg if you want to find a different way to support us. A great way to support us again is by hitting that subscribe button. That guy over here is at Skinner7Kevin. Give him a follow on the Twitter, on the X. We got to blow up his channel. I want his page to get to 150 million followers tonight, or maybe let's get him over 100. Let's get him over 100. Make sure you guys do that. What else was I going to say? I should tell you All Dodgers is presented by BetOnline. That's a thing I need to tell you about, so check it out. Use that promo code BELIEVE for a 50% first deposit bonus. We will be back on Monday. Well, I will be back on Monday with another stream here on the channel, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell to know when we're going live. Both him and I will also be back here on Thursday, if not sooner. Good stuff coming up this week as well. So again, tube in as we eventually preview the Angels series and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's it. I think that's good. We'll see you on the next one. Oh, and happy Father's Day to people that do that, and happy not a Father's Day to the rest of us. Okay, bye.